and welcome to Radio Out There. I'm Barry Eaton. Well, the Sydney Mind Body Spirit Festival starts this week. In fact, as we go to air, it has just started. One of my very favourite Australian mediums, Marcia Quinton, will be appearing there, has her own stand with a wonderful artist, and she's going to be my guest on this very special edition of Radio Out There. And we are going to talk about all manner of things, including some fabulous new products she has. All right, that's Radio Out There. Welcome. Marcia, it is wonderful to see you once again. We see each other, but to be on my program once again, hi and welcome.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here, really lovely.
Now, I know you are off to the MBS. For those people who may not know what an MBS is, Mind Body Spirit. And you will be there as we go to air with this program. So how do you like to work in those occasions with thousands of people everywhere, all flocking along? Do you find it hard to concentrate, or?
No, not really. Not really. You're sort of surrounded by a lot of energies, because the Mind Body Spirit raises a lot of energy because of the type of connections that it has and the various stalls and the various peoples. But Spirit know you're going to be there, so they're going to really work around all of that energy to be able to reach people and to help people. And my goal this time is to launch my cards, which is the Spirit Dreaming, which is only just come out. Right. It's a soul guidance, and my other ones, which were channeled spiritual guidance cards, I'll have them with me. But they're messages from the spirit world. And it came through my guide, Red Feather, who's been with me ever since I think I've been born, from the visions that I've had when I was young.
He's always stayed with you, hasn't he, Red Feather?
He has. And he's the guide. He's the one that directs the traffic. That's how I look at it, or pushes you in. This is another thing you have to learn. But right. He's the one that's helped me get all this together, and he's directed it all. But the messages on the cards, and that's the way they Spirit wanted them. The messages to be on the back of the cards as well as in the little book is because the card, the image, the card and the messages all have a powerful meaning from the divine, from Spirit. And from what I get back, the feedback I get back, everybody feels that they benefit tremendously from the Spirit messages. I'm only the channel. I'm just the voice here. But the Spirit are the ones who've done all the hard work and put all the energy around the cards. And that's primarily what I'm doing, and talking to people if they need a little advice or they need some help or whatever. I'm there for that, which I enjoy.
Good. Now, just before we started to record, I have your cards, of course, the channeled ones. I haven't got the new ones yet, but anyway, I pulled one and said, okay, what do we need to know for my chat with Marcia? So what did I pull? Card number 29 and the card of Spirit. So that was a message that Spirit wanted to put across for us to talk about. How about that?
That's true. That's true.
So what does that mean? A spiritual journey lies ahead. Well, everybody's on a spiritual journey.
Well, some are more intently than the others.
Oh, that's right. Right.
And many don't reach it to a certain point in their life. You'll find that a lot more mature people are coming into the work now and developing, and it's a very, very important because they have a lot of life experience, they have a lot of patience, and they're able to help people, and they're not flighty. Yeah, but there's a lot of young also, but again, they're fast. They want to get out there. They want to do all these movers and the shakers, and I think that's fine. But Spirit messages that come through, you've got to remember your personality. You all have an individual personality, and Spirit have to work with that. They can't change your personality. You might change over a period of time, but Spirit will have to learn and will work with your personality. So your personality is going to put forward your gift and the way you work. It's not going to change. So mediumship is mediumship, psychic is psychic, but your personality is in there and that's how it comes across sometimes.
And that's how it works. Now, it's very different for you because you do contacts with people as an individual, so you do I guess you call a reading for them or a consultation, but also you do demonstrations at spiritual churches.
Yeah.
So Mind, Body, Spirit. Now, you're doing a whole different variety of contacts. Do you find that there's something common in the whole lot of them, or does spirit sort of vary in between each venue, shall we say?
Everything you do is a different energy. For trance, it's a different energy. Channeling, you'll find it's not as physically controlled. It's more mind control. You'll find with healing, it's a different energy, a different set of individuals in the spirit world again. Evidential, you will have the different communicators moving in with a specific individual that's guiding you along with that. With trance, as I've said, it's a different, deeper trance. You have to have a particular guide for that. For rescue work, is the same. Not everyone in the spirit world does everything. There's always many helping hands there to guide you along. And if you don't want to do something, they're not going to push you to do it. But there's certain things that you feel you can do, they will guide you along that way.
And you can ask for help as well, can't you?
Yes, you can, all the time. You've got to ask. You've also got to ask questions and get verification. Yep. It gives you that security as you move along. But, you know, I love healing. I love the trance. I love demonstrations because you can reach so many people in a different way, and it actually educates people, opens people's minds that there is an afterlife and that their loved ones are there and there to help them. And they don't just come to say, you know, remember mum had this, you know, little book, or mum had these shoes she used to polish. It's also, in my way of working is, well, look, they've made a big effort to come through. What have you got to help your loved ones here now? What message can you give them, or encouragement, or how can you help them sort their issues out now? Can you help them that way? That's my way of thinking. I guess that's the nurse in me, because at the end of the day, it's lovely to know they're there, but there are many people in some sort of distress or need of some guidance, or just to know, you know, it's like mum sitting at the kitchen table with you saying, look, love, you've got this issue at home, you know what you should be doing, and you know you should talk about it. That's the sort of thing sometimes they bring through, or very quickly give you a direction, you know? It's how I work. It's the basis of what I work on. Because people need, I mean, globally, we're in terrible need at the moment.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because the whole world is in a chaos at the present time. And I'm wondering whether the messages you're getting now for people are messages of help them cope emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever. But also, are they gathering forces on the other side to put the word out here that, you know, we need to change, we need to embrace different standards or whatever?
I think you have to start with the population. I think Spirit is starting with the population from what I've seen. As I said, there's many more developing now, many more reaching out to the spirit world, many more asking questions. And when they come for sessions, or most of what I hear from people as well, outside myself, is there's always an emotional need, or there's a physical need. There's so many dysfunctions in families nowadays, and there's also the economic and work. There's so many issues. So people are needing the help, and Spirit are coming forward and giving that basic help where they can. But, you know, on a global level, there's anxiety. There's a lot of anxiety because, you know, there are many cultures out here. You know, we don't just have Australians. They're all Australian citizens, perhaps, but they have loved ones in other countries. And you have to come. They come and ask you, is my cousin dead? He's missing. He was in the Russian area. Is he missing? Is my mum okay? You know, I haven't heard from her in a long time. So people are getting those questions and wondering what's going on.
Is Spirit giving you the answers, though? I mean,
yes, they do.
For somebody to say, my husband, my boyfriend, my brother or sister is missing in the Ukraine war, What can you do about it?
Well, what one lady in particular asked about her, or her family was asking about their cousin, and from what I can see, he wasn't really here anymore. He'd been captured by the Russians, I think, and that was it.
Right.
But they never found the body.
Yeah.
This is the whole thing. And so there's no ending there, there's no ending there. So there's a lot more questions about that. And there's such a disturbance with people not knowing where they're going to have a place to live or how they're going to help their relatives over there. It's been a little bit fraught with anxiety. I think the global is causing great anxiety.
Well,
and to me, Spirit seem to be wanting to work with the people, the masses, to help them, because I don't think they can change the minds of those in power, or those in power have no idea how to fix it, because none of them are in agreement. So what they're doing is going to the people and trying to help the people en masse, and it's got to come from the people. It's definitely got to, Barry, it's got to come from the people. Sure. People have got to stand up. And that's what I feel like. It's a wave upon wave upon wave of information is, look after your fellow man, look after your fellow sister, your brother, look after them. Do what you can so that
does that mean that Spirit has almost given up on those elites and those people making all the decisions and the very bad actions? Have they given up on them and focused
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. But what I'm being shown is what's coming through. Mostly that comes through to me is Australia better watch itself. Australia better watch its back. Why haven't they done something to just protect us? Why haven't they? And I've had this over and over again. We need to conscript majority of people now. We need to prepare people on an arms way, which is, it's just sad, but we need to do that. But they're not doing that. They're not doing anything from what we can understand. So we're just sitting out there on a limb waiting, what's going to happen. So it's not about going to war. It's about having your everyday citizens aware or prepared for something. And to protect their loved ones. But, we've got nothing happening here. But that's one of the messages that came through to me one day sitting in the gym, would you believe? My mind wasn't doing anything. And we should have had underground communication systems around different areas of Australia as a part of protection. But nobody does that. This is what Spirit tell you, but, as I said to them, you could talk to the wall and they won't listen.
No, they're too busy playing politics, aren't they?
Well, this is the problem.
Yeah, it is a problem.
It's not about people, it's the problems about politics.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, before we started recording, you were telling me about a wonderful person that came through recently about a message, how Spirit are starting to get together over there on the other side to... tell me about that. I found that.
You're talking about the lovely trance dress that talk that came through. Stuart McDougall, he said his name was.
Scottish person, yeah.
He was. Okay. So I've got it recorded anyway.
Oh, have you?
Yes. And he was explaining that it may be an unconventional thing to talk about. He said, but your world is in chaos. You have many thousands suffering. You have many thousands being put through terrible situations by other humans. You have war going on everywhere, and we have these people coming over just like that. And he said what they were doing, and he said every individual that is drawn towards the Spirit, drawn towards prayer, or drawn towards meditation, or asking for healing for others, we use threads of that energy to create a fabric to take it to these individuals, mainly so that they can settle them down as they come over. Even though the spiritualism believes the fact that there's always someone there for them, but he said, when you go over and you've gone through some horrific thing, he said, you're not going to be able to function as people believe you are. He said, so we use this energy. It's like a fabric, and we wrap them in it and calm them down. He said, we have so many now collecting this energy to make a fabric and a garment that helps people on the other side. He said, we have to do that. And we only ask you for your prayers. We only ask what you can give. I mean, it's not anything except through the energy that you believe in. And he was so adamant that, you know, and this was a power. And he said, many of my colleagues and I go from group to group to group to group to collect this energy to be able to use it to help those coming over. He said, thousands. You have no idea. There's thousands coming over. Traumatized. He said,
well, there's a lot of older people now are starting to pass. I mean, we've seen so many people in Hollywood passing over in the last few weeks even. More people in their 80s, all starting to go, even younger people now. So if there's a lot of going over,
but the older people
you have to help them.
Yeah, the older people, from what I understand, is their preparations already there. It's those who go over in the trauma and the shock and under vicious brutality or that kind of thing. He said they're the ones. He said everybody comes for a purpose, a soul purpose. They have a journey. But when you come, you don't know how you're going to go, or you don't know how it's going to happen. And so your soul, and you are not prepared, so your soul's in shock as with you, be trying to settle you down as you go over. That's our role. He said there's hundreds of us, hundreds
but that
of
must
us.
have happened in both world wars and all
I would say so. Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah.
And as I said, you know, in the World War, it's written in a lot of the old spiritualist books that people would come and say, look, my son's missing. Can you see if he's in the spirit world? You know, and time again, they were in the spirit world. And they had that verification later. Someone from the services would come and tell them. But you read about it, and it's a similar thing, I would imagine, happening.
Yeah,
a lot of people are getting questions, and there'll be more the way we're going, won't they?
Yeah, that's true. Now, we talked about your guide earlier on, Red Feather, and Red Feather has been with you a long time. I presume Red Feather also helps you personally, as well as helping other people through you. But what about the fact that people want to contact their guide? I know you've helped me contact my latest guide a year or two ago, but what about people who want to contact their guide? They don't know how to do it. Is that always possible?
Yes, it is possible. Again, a lot of people don't trust what they get. They don't trust what they're seeing or what they're feeling or what they're getting. And often if a guide wants you to work or wants you to know who they are, they will come, if through meditation or through the dreams, I'll wake you up, and they will come to you. There's quite a lot of work done on, guide workshops or sitting in a class, sitting, waiting and trying to connect with your spirit guide. I do that a lot with the students so that they can feel that if it's trance, they'll have a different connection. If it's survival or evidence with psychic, it'll be a little bit different. And you have to know that, and you have to have, what I think I learned, Barry, going back in years, is I needed to know who was with me. And I deliberately continued to ask, who is with me? Because I was going under a trance. I didn't really understand anything much about it in the early days, but I'd go out and I'd think, who are you? Show me yourself. Who are you? Because I was starting to feel, I don't know who's controlling all this. And then he came and showed himself and gave me his name, and it's been the same ever since. He's always there. Should I need him, he's always there. But again, it's a lot of sitting and developing yourself to be able to make that link strong and be able to get that connection. It's not like you're going to sit once and it's there.
No.
Sometimes it is. But what people get confused with is that there are many tutors and many teachers in the spirit world, and they all have a way of working with us. So people think that they've got all these multiple guides. They have guidance. They have a lot of guidance. You have one guide who sees you through. So accept that and think, oh, look, I've had this new guide come in, and I always say, well, what are they trying to teach you? What are they trying to show you if that guidance is coming? You know, listen to what they're saying, because if that's how they relate to it, well, if you try to change that thinking, they're going to think, oh, well, I've got all this wrong, you know, but the guide will sort that out. The teacher,
but we
the
do
guide.
have changes of guides, though, don't we? Because
Yes, we do.
You've helped me introduce to a couple of new guides since we've known each other about 25 years now. But you've helped me tremendously with that. So not everybody has the same guide from birth right through to passing over.
Well, let me tell you, you have one guide that stays with you. And out of all of that, when you start to grow, it's like going to school. You go up a grade, you go up a grade. That guide's taught you all they can. This other new guidance comes in, it needs to teach you more. But you need to know who that is. You need that affirmation, because otherwise you don't work as well. And someone like you, Barry, you're way beyond the beginning with your guide. You've got all these other, because you're working in it so much and with so many different people, you need a lot of change of educators, of people coming in and divine energies working with you. You know, I know every now and then I look up and think, oh, I haven't worked with you before. Now I've got to get used to your energy. And it really can, you can fumble. I think, oh, I don't know this energy. I'll have to get used to this now. But then maybe a year or two down the track, I have to do that again, you know. But Red Feather is always there.
He's always there for you. Fantastic.
Yeah, he was there when I was a young baby. He showed me a vision. I did it under a regression, and there he was up there above me, and I was in the bassinet, and he had this mobile. You know how they have the mobiles. In my days, they didn't have it, and we didn't have one. I didn't know what it was, but here I was playing with. He was playing, moving the mobile, keeping me laughing and happy when I was a baby, and he's been with me ever since. So he came with me and showed himself then. I thought, oh, my goodness, he's been guiding me all of my life.
Oh, that's wonderful. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, now, I know who will be with you at the Mind Body Spirit Festival. So people who are going along this weekend, they'll be able to find you easily. You have your own store there.
Yes. I'm on Spirit Art.
Spirit Art
FO6.
F06, all right. And you're working there with
F06.
And you're there with a lovely artist as well.
Yeah. Spirit Art F06.
F06.
Yeah. Yes, I'm there with Taryn. She did all the art for the second box of my cards. Right. Beautiful spiritual girl. I tell you, she's going to go a long way. Oh, is she ever? If anything, what Margaret Dent tells me, she's going to go a long way.
Now, for those who don't know, Margaret Dent was a wonderful, fantastic, what would you call her? Medium,
clairvoyant, best clairvoyant around.
Everything. I know my partner, Anne, as you know, well, went to her quite a bit. So she came through when we were talking earlier today, or when you were talking to
Yes.
So they are there.
That's right.
They are there around us, aren't they? That is really
important. Yes. It's sort of every now and then she'll appear and say something or told me to tell someone something. But if she came today when Anne was here, she came for Anne. And I feel she's reassuring her about her grandson.
Yeah, fair enough.
And, you know, you can't be worrying, Anne. She said you can't be worrying. It's all right. Just keep going.
Just keep going. That's lovely. That's fantastic.
Yeah, just keep going. You know, Margaret was always direct, straight to the point. And she hasn't changed. She is a beautiful medium. She was a beautiful medium, and she's a beautiful soul.
So I believe. Well, that is fantastic. Now, your new book and cards, they'll be available at the Mind Body Spirit Festival.
Yes.
But for those people who can't get there for one reason or the other, whether they live somewhere else in Australia, or we have audience in the US and Britain, all over the place. So is there a website or somewhere where they can...
Well, they're on Amazon.
They're on Amazon, are they? All right.
I know that the spirit dreaming is, and the channel guidance, spiritual guidance was on. I'd have to check with Animal Dreaming about that. But I know the spirit dreaming is on Amazon, and you can get them from Spirit Dreaming, or you can email me and I can get them to you.
All right. Well, I'll put your email address up there if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But you don't have a website, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, what's your website? Well, that's the best way to do it.
I'll send it to you, Barry.
All right.
I can't remember it. It's
That's all right.
old.
I'll put that up and tell everybody. Well, Marcia, I can talk to you for hours, but I know we have a small time limit here. But anyway, thank you so much for your time. And I want to have another long session with you at some stage, because this week there's a lot happening in March. We're going to talk astrology very shortly, but I know it's a mad month. The mad March hare is around, I tell you what.
And I was born in March.
I know you were. And it's your birthday this week. Happy birthday.
It is.
Yeah.
It's my mum's and my
21
brother's
again?
as well.
Yeah, that's right.
No, 21 again. I don't want to be 21.
No,
31 would
what
be
a
better.
horrible thought.
No, I've gone back there. 31 or 41, yeah, but not 21.
Okay. We have a 31. All right. Marcia, lovely to talk to you. Thank you
Lovely
so
to
much.
talk to you. Thank you, Barry. Bye.
She's an amazing medium, and I would suggest if you're going to the Mind Body Spirit Festival, do go and have a chat with her. Well, that's it for this week, and those wonderful cards, and they are spirit dreaming. They're available on her website, marcia.net.au, also through Amazon and Animal Dreaming Publishing. Thanks for your company, and I will see you next time on Radio Out There.